Hello there, YouTube. This is Solid Shepard, bringing you a new series. So, I figured I've been doing too much gameplay and I haven't really been doing other things. So, I'm bringing you more gameplay. No, I'm just kidding. There is gameplay here, but what this is going to be is a new series that I'm going to call Sweet and Sour. It's where I'm going to bring you one sweet subject, one sour subject, one good, one bad. It's the good, the bad, the ugly without the ugly. Although sometimes you might call the bad ugly. You know, just replace bad with ugly. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So this week, and I'm gonna include it with gameplay, different gameplay, probably with each video. Each single video, I'll pick a certain game that I have and I'll play it. And then I'll put the gameplay over it. Anyways, you guys get the basic gist. So what do we have this week? Well, at least today. I'm not even sure if it's going to be weekly or, you know, bi-weekly or how I'm going to do it. But basically, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be playing some Skyrim. That's right. Well, not Skyrim. My bad. We're going to be playing some Elder Scrolls Online. You know, the game that came after Skyrim, you know, MMO. And what we're going to be talking about is two subjects. I picked out one. We're going to be talking about the butt controversy with Blizzard. You know, fits while playing an MMO that I'm going to be talking about Blizzard. You know full well what I'm talking about, folks. We're talking about the Tracer butt pose. And then the other subject, the more better one, is I will be talking about, you know, Final Fantasy. You know, they had a big unveiling event recently, and I'm going to be talking about that. So, let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so first we're going to be talking about the juicy stuff that everyone cares about, which is going to be Tracer's butt. Here's the way I see it: is if it's an actual design thing that they decide, well, we don't really, the makers of the game are like, we really don't want the butt, right? That's not what we want her character to be about or whatever. That's one thing. But if it's because they caved in to social justice warriors, and it wasn't even really a bunch of social justice warriors, it was one SJW. If they were even an SJW, they might have just been a concerned parent, and a lazy parent at that, because the game, their post said something along the lines of they're gonna be buying their 8-year-old daughter this game, and their 8-year-old daughter looks up to Tracer. Well, this game is rated T for teen, I believe. It's not really meant for an 8-year-old, and the way Tracer is described is she is an elite killer, and this poster even says that showing off her butt has quote-unquote nothing to do with her being an elite killer. So, but it's like, how is my daughter supposed to look up to this character when she's showing her butt off? So let me get this straight. She's basically wearing some spandex, some yoga pants, if you will, and striking a pose after she won. And just because you can see the contours of her butt, that's a problem. But you don't have any issues with your daughter idolizing an elite killer. Is that right? I don't know. I find an issue with that. I think this person's a terrible, terrible parent. I'm not going to call them out. I'm not going to link anything because, you know, you guys all probably have seen other videos. I'm not going to try and attack this person individually. This is just what I find amazing because, first of all, these SGWs that are constantly complaining about these games are not the one buying and playing the video games, really. You know, I'd say probably 60 to 70% of these people have never really played a game outside of like Angry Birds or Candy Crush on their cell phone. So, these companies that are pandering to these people who have no right to even have a voice in this situation, it just baffles me. And what makes this situation even more insane, other than the subject matter of the situation, is the fact that it was one person. It was one post on on the Blizzard message boards, and they're changing the game for this person. And like I said, if it was like a design thing, if it was to further the story that they want to tell in their game, or you know, a creative decision, then yes, I'd be all for it. I'm all for a strong woman who doesn't need sexuality and all that if it furthers the story. But to put stuff like that in there just for the sake of having it, kind of like how I actually read in this month's new Game Informer, where they had this interview of Marvel, and they're talking about how Marvel's trying to push these female superheroes basically just for the sake of having them in video games. And I find that baffling. I just find that amazing. And then these feminists go, well, we want to feel represented because we can't really sympathize with a white male character, which is what most of them are. Really? Because I sympathize with black and female characters all the time in movies and video games when they're in there. I don't care that they're a different color than me. I'm associating with what they're going through, not what they look like. That's what we need to be focusing on, is we need to be focusing on good stories and fairness. And if you're going to get into the whole SJW scene and pick a side one way or the other, you need to be worried about fairness. All right? And fairness, you got to start with who is the majority. The majority is white males, right? We're not overrepresented. We're equally represented for the percentage that we represent from the country as a whole, right? Is we are the majority. You know, then African American, you know, Latino, all that. The percentage isn't nearly as high as Caucasian. And then male to female, like, it's more closer to 50%, but it's still male dominated. There's still more men than women, especially around the globe. You know, basically Western countries, there's more men than women. Especially, I might be wrong on that stat actually. You know, just from my personal experience, from where I've been, actually usually seems to be a good amount of women. But there's definitely in Western countries, the people who play the games that are part of this culture is definitely, I don't think anyone can argue, it's definitely majority of men. So that makes sense. You know, they are, you know, in fact, if you really look at the amount of African Americans that are in movies and video games, you know, in media, they're actually kind of overrepresented if you bounce it off of the percentage of the population that is actually of that. Same with women. You know, any combination, you really look at it without getting emotional about it and look at the numbers, and the numbers make sense. They make sense. It's not anything to get mad over. Okay. You know, say what you want to about that. That's my own personal opinion on it. And if, like I said, if you have a minority character that you feel like will further your story, will further your plot, will make it a good one, then I'm all for it. I have absolutely nothing against the idea of women or African Americans or Latinos or any of that being represented in video games if it's done right. But if it's just done for the sake of filling a quota, then no. Don't do that. That's how you end up with terrible games. You just, you do stuff just for the sake of doing it. You have graphics just for the sake of having graphics. You know, you can do this just for the sake of doing it. That's how you get bad gameplay. That's how you get bad story, bad movies, whatever have you. No one wants that. No one wins in that situation. Okay. That's enough to the sour. Now, we're getting to the good. Final Fantasy 15? I believe it was 15. There's so many of them now, I kind of get it mixed up. Some of them with, I stopped really following after 10. Because that was the last time Final Fantasy was any good. It was Final Fantasy 10. I kind of lost hope. I tried 13 with Lightning. I think that was 13, right? With Lightning. Didn't really like it. I didn't finish it. And I never did any of the online games. So really, 7, 8, 9, and 10 were just masterpieces. And then, my personal favorite is 8. That was the first 3D video game, well, RPG at least. My first 3D video game was actually Judge Dredd on the PlayStation 1. But my first 3D RPG was Final Fantasy 8. I fell in love with it. That's the game that made me fall in love with video games. I might do a video about that some other time. But that's neither here nor there. But, Final Fantasy, so, it is a dear part of my heart. But I had lost interest in it. You know, they'd put up so much crap recently that I had enough, quite honestly. I wasn't expecting much, but you know, I saw the ads for Final Fantasy 15. The graphics looked really good. I mean, they looked really good in 13 also, but that game was crap. You know, a lot of people like it because they like Lightning, you know, and I understand. You know, Lightning, she's a good character. But you know, like I said, once again, I don't have a problem with female characters. Me myself in this video, I created. By the way, I created her. I call her Jamie, Jaymii. She's a female character I created just for the the channel. Just to, I think I'm probably going to use her more than my main character that I showed in my previous video on ESO, just because I want more. I do want more variety on the channel. So this is just a chance to have more variety, and I like the way she turned out. She looks like a good character, so I'm probably gonna be using her a lot on the channel. Yeah, but anyways, what I was getting at is, Lightning's a great character. I get it, but unfortunately, her game, she was written well, but her game is terrible. Her game is absolutely atrocious. The gameplay was atrocious. The pacing of the story was atrocious. She was the only good thing about the game. And then, God, that online Final Fantasy was an absolute mess. It was an absolute mess. I don't know if they could have handled that any worse. And then they've been in, development for 15 for a long time, and a lot of people are getting sick and tired of waiting, kind of like, Zelda Wii U. Like, we don't even have a name for that yet. But then this event came out, and there was a little bit leaked, and a lot of people were thinking, oh, well, now we know what's going to happen. It would leak before the event. They're like, I think like GameSpot and a few other people broke embargo. And even with that, you sit down and watch it. And I watched it, HMK. Go check out his channel, HMK. He's really, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to him. He's really, really good. But if you like Kingdom Hearts or Legend of Zelda, he's your go-to guy right there. He's really good at what he does. I can only hope to be as good as him someday. But what he did is, he showed it, whatever, and I sat there and watched it, and I already know everything that's going to happen. Hell, I'm watching it because he streamed it, but like his stream uploaded to YouTube, so it already happened. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I can tell you right now, after watching that event, I have never been so hyped for a game before. They did everything right. They came out and they were like, okay, here's the game. And they talk about all the things you can do in the game. They showed an awesome trailer with some awesome pick music to go along with it. And then okay, where was I? Okay, the trailer. And then they showed this thing, there's like anime characters behind them. They're like, what's up with these anime characters? Turns out there's an anime series on YouTube that's going to be airing on YouTube for free. It's a prequel about the four guys you play as. I think it's four. It's like 4 or 5. I don't remember the exact number. But you get to see like basically like their story in anime form, and it's free. Free anime, 5-episode miniseries. They're giving that to us, right? And then, on top of that, they released the demo. Like, of the time of the event. At the time of the event, they released a demo, like that night. Guess what? That demo's free. That might sound like, it's a demo, it should be free, right? Well, anyone who played Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes knows better, It's been dangerous the way the industry has been, going, kind of stringing us gamers along. But, so that's awesome. I actually downloaded it. I actually have a gameplay of it. I played all the way through in one session. Not hard. It's pretty short. On my channel, you can go check that video out. It's called, the demo's called the Platinum Demo. I believe it's Platinum. I don't remember if it's called the Platinum Demo. It's got platinum in the name though. So that's really cool. So that's free, and then also around I think right before but around the time that the game releases, they're gonna be releasing another movie, I think, which is pretty much a prequel, which is called it's a CGI movie, and this movie's good, like looks good, like you can't tell at certain moments whether it's actually CGI or actual actors playing it out. But it's called Kingsglaive, and it's basically about the main protagonist in the game and the anime series, and the demo. It's about his father, right? It's about his father, so you can see that. And if you buy the special pre-order edition, it actually comes. The movie comes with the game. A Blu-ray of the movie comes with the game. So there's that. And then they gave us a release date for the game. There was a release date. It was just an awesome event. And then they had another trailer like at the end. It was just perfect. I've never seen an event like this before. I'm not gonna say never. I haven't been this excited for a game. Right? I've not been this excited for a game since Mass Effect 3, and I'm a huge Mass Effect guy. You know, you can tell by my handle on YouTube. You know, it's called Shepard for Commander Shepard. So, you know, this game is gonna be huge, and if you've seen the graphics, it's like a world simulator. Okay, these graphics look so nice. There was one scene during one of the trailers where it shows like this table, like at a restaurant, some glasses of wine. Oh my god, like I feel like I was actually staring at a photorealistic, like, you know, fancy diner or whatever, not diner, fancy restaurant with, you know, actual wine and wine glasses. Like, this thing looks so beautiful. It's the most beautiful game I've ever seen, and just the way they revealed everything, Square Enix is getting it right. They've turned it around. I fully expect Final Fantasy to be back at the standard of the JRPG genre. They're about to take the crown back. Like, they have to try to screw this game up at this point. Like, I mean, yeah, they have the hype so big, but from everything I've seen in the demo I played, I don't know how they can mess it up. Even with expectations this high, I don't know how they can mess it up. They can mess it up, but it's going to be tough. Like, they're going to have to try to mess that game up. So get hyped for that. The hype is real for this game. I'm telling you. You know, and they're giving us plenty of stuff, plenty of content to hold us over until the game comes out. Nintendo, if you're listening, this is how you do it, okay? You don't have a game releasing at the end of the year, and we don't even have a freaking title for it yet. I'm looking at you, Zelda Wii U. I'm looking at you. We have no information. We don't even have a title. We're still calling it Zelda Wii U, for Christ's sakes, right? That's not what you do. Anyways, this has been Sweet and Sour with Solid Shepard. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time.
I serve the Veil. I should go.